introductions, and then I'm going to let you do the majority of talking because my sexy Barry White congested voice is probably too much for everybody to handle.
All right, I'll try to take the lead.
My name is Philip Sadlick. I'm the VP of Publishing and Marketing here at Boom Studios. Sitting to my left and your right is Matt Gagnon, the editor-in-chief.
Hey, everybody.
We've got Bryce Carlson, the managing editor. And then as a special guest, we've got creator Grace Randolph, the writer and creator of Suburbia.
Yay!
So we're just gonna spend a little time, tell you guys what Boom Studios has been up to recently, and a couple things that we've got coming up. And in fact, there are 3 slides containing artwork on 2 very, very cool projects that I don't think anybody outside of these 3 people have seen. So, lucky you. Everybody's very quiet. Very tired. Saturday afternoon, we're all a little wiped out.
No, man, it's the post-lunch show.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The Starbucks line was too long. Okay. So, earlier this year, we launched a really cool new title from Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning. Really well known, not only for their work over in the UK, but here in the US for basically bringing back the cosmic part of the Marvel Universe, right? Books like Annihilation, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, their take on Guardians of the Galaxy, from what I understand, is what Marvel's basing the Guardians of the Galaxy movie partly off of. Is that correct, Grace? Do you know anything about that? The Guardians of the Galaxy movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they did like this kind of, the seminal run on Guardians of the Galaxy, Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning, and did some really fantastic things in that book, especially with Rocket Raccoon, who's awesome.
And Groot.
So I think what their run did was really bring those characters back to prominence, and apparently the feature film will use some of that stuff. So what we wanted to do is work with Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning and do what they do best, which is what we think is cosmic superheroes, but like give them the opportunity to really take their gloves off, develop a brand new mythology, brand new characters, and just cut loose with these stories.
Yeah. So we launched on Free Comic Book Day with a 0 issue.
Yeah, it was a free issue and had a prelude, an original prelude that actually doesn't show up in the first issue. So if you can track that down, it's a new story that's not in the first issue.
First issue we shipped out the last week of June. Really beautiful interior artwork by Brad Walker and how do we say it? Is it Andres
Ronaldo? Yeah, absolutely. And Tom Derenick's been doing stuff on the book, and many of you probably remember Tom Derenick he's been drawing comic books for years, a great superhero artist.
And Bryce, why don't you tell folks what Hypernaturals, which is the title we're talking about, is about?
So in the future, the Hypernaturals are kind of like this super team that, guards the galaxy. They are the super police force. And because of that, they're kind of this celebrity status superhero, and everyone knows who they are, and it's just a great mix. And what happens to start this series off is that the 100-year anniversary team goes to a place where there's a crisis, and they all disappear. And so what they have to do is basically track down this nice combination of new recruit Hypernaturals who aren't quite ready for the job, and some of the old veterans who retired, form a new team and kind of solve this ongoing mystery that's going on. It's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, what I love about it is like you've got the Hypernaturals. Every iteration of the Hypernaturals team is usually the youngest and the brightest and the best Hypernaturals, and they're like 25 years old or something like that. And then the old ones retire and the new ones are being developed. And so when this team disappears, you got this like really great blend of like young people that aren't qualified to do the job and older people that maybe aren't fit to do the job either, and they've got to team up together to find out what's going on. So it was a great setup for the story, and what they've been doing with it has been awesome.
Yeah, and issue 4 is in stores now. It's actually the first part of the second story arc. So from the Free Comic Book Day issue up to issue 3 was Dan and Andy's initial story arc, so this is a great place to jump on. Make sure you check it out.
The people next next door really like Hypernaturals.
Yeah. I expect the Adventure Time hat-wearing folks to be at least that excited when we get to the Adventure Time part of the show.
Yeah, somebody's gonna do cartwheels.
I want people in that room going like, man, that Boom Studios panel is off the chain. So we also did an original series this year about two things that you love, fanboys versus zombies. Pretty simple concept here, but let's explain it anyway.
Yeah. Zombie outbreak hits the San Diego Comic Book Convention, and a group of friends who meet up every year at San Diego are stuck in this post-apocalyptic wasteland and trying to survive in the midst of zombie fanboys. It's written by my buddy Sam Humphries. Sam's a terrific writer. He kind of came up last year doing self-published stuff. He did something called Our Love Is Real, which was about a guy who really likes his dog, really in a very special way. Not for children, but if you ever get a chance, track it down. If you're of age, it's a really good book. And then now he's writing all sorts of stuff over at Marvel. His career is completely skyrocketed, and rightfully so. Huge talent, and he's been doing Fanboys vs. Zombies for us. Great job.
Yeah, and Sam is actually at the show this weekend, so if you're coming back tomorrow, see if you can track him down at the show and chat him up. You may also have heard his name because he recently made Captain America President in the Ultimates. So here's just some really cool, sweet-looking covers. The interior art on Fanboys vs. Zombies is by a relative newcomer, Jerry Gaylord. Really cool stuff.
Who's also at the show, by the way, and he
Jerry's here?
He has Fanboys vs. Zombies blank sketch covers, and he will zombify you.
Yeah, he's a caricature artist during the day, so he'll do a sketch of you as a zombie. It's awesome. There's a common theme in all of our new series, which is that the first and sometimes the first several issues keep selling out, and we have to go back to press, which is just a little hint that if you're into Boom Studios and your local retailer isn't ordering enough copies, maybe you should tell them that, hey, I really dig these books, I'd like to pre-order them, and that way you can guarantee yourself a first printing. So issue 7 just shipped this week. All 7 issues are still in print. Another original sci-fi series we launched this year, which is really cool, is called Higher Earth. And this is another series by Mr. Sam Humphries.
Yeah, so with Higher Earth, we had so much fun working with Sam on Fanboys vs. Zombies. We wanted to do something else with him, and he had this original concept for a sci-fi series. And the concept was basically that in the future, space is dead. Nobody's interested in exploring space anymore. What's more interesting, and what's actually more easy, is to go to the universe next door. And so this is a story about a bunch of parallel Earths that are all ruled by one higher Earth. That's kind of this dominant Earth. And so each planet is in various stages of development. There might be some planets that are still prehistoric. There might be one planet that higher Earth uses just solely as a trash planet to discard all the trash of all the other Earths. And so our story is about this guy named Rex, who literally falls from the sky. He's on a mission of revenge, and in the first issue you won't know why just yet, but he basically grabs this girl named Heidi, who's a warrior on the trash planet, and they are taking off together on their way to higher Earth.
And Heidi's not too happy about that.
No, Heidi's not happy. It's a really great series from Sam, and again, what we're trying to do is do things that aren't necessarily on the comic book stands every month. Do things.